Hey guys, Gaming Engineer here. So we're back for round 5 of Nations Cup. You will remember I did Nations Cup over the weekend as well, so they've changed the dates around, so manufacturer is now Saturday instead of Wednesday. So that's why we've got 2 Nations Cups to review. Well, we've done one, this is the second one, so this is round 5 instead of 4. Skidrat, yeah, he was a bit of a loose unit in the race, you'll see that. And I'll touch upon the incidences as well, as there's a lot to unpack. Ben Cuzzy didn't have any trouble with him. Hamish was in my race, so I was very grateful for that. I love him. It was really nice to have a friend there, and Chef Todd. But I didn't see much of Chef Todd because he was up front and he was so quick. So good on him, showing his pace, clean race. I hope he had a good race as well. I haven't caught up with him yet, but I just hope he enjoyed it basically. There's Hamish. Shout out to Hamish because he made that livery in about 10 minutes and it looks fucking sick. Cosmic Spirit got a bit nasty towards the end there because I dive bombed him, which was my fault after he punted me and ran me a bit wide, but it is what it is. There I am in the HKS Hypermax Evo, the CT9A variant replica, so if you know that, that'll be cool. I've got Gumba Cat in my lobby, unfortunately, Gumba Ocean Cat, and I've had a lot of trouble with him, so you'll see what he does at the start, into turn 1. So that wasn't very good either, but it is what it is. BKXI, I caused a little bit of trouble for them, but they didn't lose any positions when I did make contact with them, so it was okay. I got the penalty, I wore it, and they were okay, so I hope they enjoy their race, basically. And then Spud Muncher is an absolute dick, because of what I think he did into a hairpin, well, not really a hairpin, a tight left-hander. I think he was a bit optimistic, but obviously I'll let you guys be the judge of that. Drop me a comment if you think I'm wrong, or if you agree, sure, then put a comment in as well. But I was more likely to put our contact down to a racing incident because he jumped the curb, but the game felt that I must have cut him off or something to that effect, so I got the penalty, and whatever, I just took it and moved on. But at the same time I felt maybe it was a bit on the cheek, so it is what it is. So you'll see coming into turn 1, right-hander, we have all cold tires, so everyone needs to remember that. You'll see the Lexus gives me a little bit of a tap, and that just starts off the whole chain reaction. Gumba hits me, I hit the Beetle, and he hits me again, and I hit the Beetle again, and it was just a pinball effect, unfortunately. And then I make a little bit of contact with Subaru. He's not going to move, he doesn't need to. He was more than entitled to that racing line, and so I go a little bit wide. That allows Hamish to come through. Now Hamish had more pace, but it was unfortunate because he got sandwiched between me and the Beetle in front. You see, he hits the Beetle because he had nowhere else to go. I was on the left, he wasn't going to hit me, and he couldn't dive down the inside, so it was a lose-lose, and he unfortunately picked up the penalty. So I'm really sorry for that. I was in the way, and I apologize, but I had nowhere else to go as well, and the Beetle was stopping a bit too quickly for us, so he unfortunately had to cop that penalty, and I feel bad because I ruined his race, but he fought back in the end and did really well, so that was pretty cool to see. But that's what happened there. It wasn't intentional. I wasn't trying to jam him up or anything like that. The one thing with Hamish is I trust him fully. We've had really close races before, and he's amazing to race with, so I have, yeah, door-to-door contact with him, no problem, utter faith in him. Now you'll see Spud Muncher become a cunt. This is what I think was a racing incident rather than a penalty. So you'll see he gets a little bit loose. I'm coming down. I leave the door slightly open, but I don't think he was going to go for it. Takes more than enough curb and just gets loose, straight lines it, makes a little bit of contact, and then loses the rear, just trying to put the power down. And the game seems to think that I must have caused an incident. So I wore it. It is what it is. 2 seconds was a lot, but I just thought, look, it's a long race, and I'll try and fight my way back, which I did. One thing with the car, you'll notice here he gives me a little bit of punt as well, just for good love. There you go. You know, good sportsmanship there. So yeah, I mean, my leaving the door open wasn't an invitation to jump the curb, and he was more than, I'd say more than 90% on the curb rather than 2 wheels on the track. He's lucky he didn't get a track limits penalty with that, but to take that much curb, straight line it because you touch some of the grass and then hit me, well, you know, give me a punt for nothing, I guess, but thanks anyway. So at this point I was starting to sort of get used to the Evo. I still wasn't completely sold on it. I thought I'd made a big mistake, but the more I drove it, the more comfortable I got, the more confident I got, and you'll see I'm just pressuring the Beetle. I'm not causing too much trouble for him. I'm not going to hit him. I'm not going to dive down the inside. Just want to let him know that I'm there, and that gives him a bad exit. So the Evo had amazing traction out of the corners. Corner exit speed was huge, and you just see I pass him with ease. The brakes on it were phenomenal. It was stopping well ahead of everyone else, and that actually caught me out, because then I got a bit too bold and dive bombed and made contact with the side of some people's doors. So that was my fault as well. That's my bad. But I served the penalty, and you know, it is what it is. Just took it on the chin and moved on. But that put me into a vulnerable position, which was down the back of the pack, and that's where I didn't want to be. Now you see I have Killer Zone in front of me, and we have a bit of trouble there. So I'll let you enjoy a little bit of racing before I come back, and I'll explain what happens with Killer Zone next. Thanks guys. So you'll see coming down the straight, hard on the brakes, but I make a little bit of contact with BKXI. I take to the grass to try and avoid him. I did make contact, unfortunately, but it didn't ruin his race, like I said, so it was okay. I know it's not a good racing practice, but he didn't lose any position, so that was okay, and that allowed Killer Zone to get through. Now, I think I pissed him off because I cut him down the inside on the last lap, and I did it again on this lap, and each time through that S's, he's always run up the side of the door, trying to, I wouldn't say push me off, but unsettle the car enough that he could get back through. So yeah, I think I was having a bit of trouble with him just by pissing him off. The Evo had better brakes, and I trusted it, so I was braking later. You'll see I pull off to the inside line and outbrake him again, and he just, yeah, he wasn't too happy with it. You see he'll rub the door a little bit there, just trying to unsettle the car a little bit. It is what it is, and you know, no hard feelings. I just hope he doesn't take it personally, that's all, because all it was just racing. I saw the line, and yeah, I went for it basically. Now, Skid Rat, the guy behind me, is a bit of a dodgy cunt, only because I'm sure he's a good racer. There's no two ways about that, and the pass he made on me, I think, was fair. A little bit argy-bargy for me, but fair enough, you know, nothing wrong with it. But what he does to BKXI and things like that shows that maybe the elbows out just maybe a bit too much, I'd say. So you'll see here, he's on the grass a little bit, he's pushing pretty hard, we're still making contact there, we're pretty close coming out of the right-hander, a little bit of contact there again, and at this point I'm wondering what's going to happen, you know, because I'm a bit nervous of the dive bomb. And you see he just sends it in because I was too scared to hit BKXI as well. So I cost my position there, but at the same time he was just a bit too aggressive for me. So you'll see what he does to BKXI. I think I have a replay shot of that from my car, just in the cockpit view, that I'll load up because it carries through on for a few turns. So you'll see here he's all over the place. He's a bit loose, controls it, but a bit loose, and then uses BKXI just as a little bit of a wall there, and then just the rear taps him a little bit more. I thought that was a bit a bit dirty, a bit on the nose, but he's a good racer, he's a good rat, so, you know, it is what it is. I just thought that was a bit maybe too aggressive, but yeah, it's just a personal opinion. And now you'll see Killerzone back in the fray here, because he catches me by sending it down the inside. He took a page out of my book. I tried to brake as late as I dared, but yeah, it was just never going to work, so I gave him a little bit of love back, a little bit of touching there, but nothing serious, no hard feelings, I don't think. And for the most part, I think it settles down pretty well from there, just with the last few incidences coming through. Just where I give Killerzone a bit of a punt there. That was unintentional, I still wear the penalty, and he didn't lose a place, but yeah, that was completely my fault. I outbraked myself, and I hope he didn't get upset. There was nothing personal. That was not not because of what happened or anything like that. It was just I got ahead of myself and braked too late. So aside from that, the rest of the laps were okay. I was starting to get a hang of the car, and I'll be back for the next incident because there's a lot more. Enjoy. So coming down the back straight again, you'll see Cosmic Spirit behind me. Now he's on the brakes and he seems under control, but then he sort of just lets up and gives me a gentle punt and gets through and didn't pick up a penalty. So I found that a bit odd in the fact that he was under control, he was on the brakes, he wasn't slipping, the car wasn't understeering. He just lets off the brakes, maybe a little too early or something like that, and then just decided to punt me. So I don't know if that was on purpose or not, conscientious decision, but yeah, I felt that was on the cheek considering, I did dive bomb him and that's my fault, but towards the end of the race. But if you're going to do that to other people, then when someone dive bombs you or punts you, don't be a cunt and whine about it like a little bitch. So I just thought that was a bit on the cheek, the pot calling the kettle black. I'll punt you, but don't punt me. Well, sorry, cunt, doesn't work like that. So I took my pit stop. I still got to serve my penalty. Racing mediums. Now, I wasn't too comfortable on the racing mediums for a while, about 2 laps. And I was speaking to Hamish, if you watch my live stream, speaking to Hamish throughout the race, and we're both feeling the mediums dropped the pace of the Evo a little bit. But once they came up to temperature, and once we got used to them, once the grip came up, it worked really well. It worked fantastically. You just had to warm them up a bit more. The Evo took maybe a little bit longer to warm the tires up than maybe perhaps other cars. But once we warmed them up, once we got them in the sweet spot, they were perfect. They were phenomenal. Great grip. Little bit slower than the softs, but negligible. They were on fire. They just made this car handle really well, and this car overall just handled really well. So for me to climb back to 10th with all my bullshit and shitty driving, I'm pretty proud because the car saved my ass. So I'll let you watch the rest of this. Last incident is coming in on lap 12, I believe. So I'll be back around then. But till then, enjoy. Alright, so lap 12, down this infamous back straight, the one I keep having trouble with. Now, I missed my braking point, I braked too late, and you'll see I sent it down the inside. I panicked, that's my bad. Panicked, little bit of contact there, he turned in on me, I was in the wrong. He runs me wide, well, to the edge of the track basically, takes his racing line as normal, I'm not hitting him or touching him, and he puts it on the gravel himself. So, he did get upset at me for the dive bomb, but I think he was more pissed with himself, and there's the replay there. No touching or contact on my behalf, he just runs too wide, puts it on the gravel, and I sneak by. So he was upset with me. I think he was more upset that he put it on the gravel, but again, that wasn't my fault. If you're going to punt and be a bit elbowy, well then, yeah, look, I dive bombed. I'm not defending that, but I made a mistake, and if he's going to say he made mistakes with punting people and things like that, like what he did to me, well then mistakes happen. Yeah, I'll wear the dive bomb. I braked too late, missed my braking point. I should have gone more extreme left onto the grass. I should have. I panicked. I didn't. That's my bad. But you know, it is what it is. And I know I say that a lot, but when people hit me, I just go, it is what it is. They're a cunt. Blah 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 blah. But you take it on the chin and move on. So the fact that he said, oh, if I punt him, if I dive bomb him again, he's gonna run me off the track in the next race. I was like, you can do whatever you want, mate. I really don't care. Just shove it up your ass, really. If you're going to get upset and bitter, well then, Lord forbid you ever race with other people that do that. Because I've had that more times than not. Whether intentional or not, maybe dirty races, good races, everyone makes mistakes. As I proved in my DC2 race. So, that's what happened. That's the last of the incidents, thank God. And you'll notice BKXI goes a bit wide on the third to last corner or something like that, this corner coming up, and that's how I secured 10th. So it's unfortunate. They had a good race, they ran a really solid pace considering all the bullshit that I put them through as well, but yeah, I was happy with 10th considering the car saved my butt. So I appreciate all the new subscribers. Thank you for watching if you watched till the end. I really do love and appreciate the support. I can't thank you guys enough. This is a small channel, but the fact that I have people watching and commenting just means a lot. It really does. Thank you so much. There'll be 2 more replays coming up, but if it's not before Christmas, have a good Christmas, stay safe, and I will have more content for you in the new year.